the document I'm going to talk quickly about is the Top Secret Memo. It's a 1950 document from Canada, but I want to sort of go around the documents that talk about why this is so important. If you took a look at the top document called Memorandum there, you will see, to give you some background, in Canada there was 4 different organizations that controlled UFO files. There was the Department of Transport, there was the National Research Council, there was the RCMP, and there was the Department of Defense. But the actual discussion behind the sighting files as to what does the President say, what does the head of the military think about this, what does the Prime Minister of Canada think about this, that is all the stuff behind. That is the stuff that you will not see. So in this memorandum, which is the document, you've got it up there, I'll read just the one paragraph. It says, and what has happened here is all the documents in Canada, the sighting file material, has been moved in the 1960s to the National Research Council, because nobody wants the documents, nobody knows what to do with them. So the National Research Council gets stuck with these documents. And this is a memo from somebody in the Department of Defense talking about the fact that Project Magnet document is in these files that have come to you. And he gives the warnings. He says, at no time should this be made available to the public. If you read the very last line, talking about this stuff, the discussions behind the Project Magnet files, he says, a copy of the Project Magnet file is attached to this. The original is attached and should not be destroyed until such time as the UFO subject has cooled off. So the intention was that the Project Magnet, the material behind Project Magnet, the discussions as to what was going on, would be destroyed. At the top of page 2 it says, this is an official report that sat on the Prime Minister's desk in Canada for 3 months, according to the wife of the guy who wrote it. It appears then that we are faced with a substantial probability of the real existence of extraterrestrial vehicles, regardless of whether or not they fit into our scheme of things. That was the official conclusion by the Canadian government report in 1952, which went to the Prime Minister. The top secret document, the Canadian government does not deny this document. It agrees that this is a legitimate document. It was stamped top secret. It was written by Wilbert B. Smith. The background to it was the Canadians in 1950 had decided they were going to go to the Americans. They were going to find out what the Americans knew about the flying saucer program. They went down and through the military attaché at the Canadian Embassy, and through the Canadian Embassy they asked questions of the Americans. Is this for real? What's going on? And here's the conclusion that went back to the Canadian government. The subject is the most highly classified subject in the United States, rated higher than the hydrogen bomb. Flying saucers exist. Their modus operandi is unknown, but there's a small group headed by Dr. Vannevar Bush, who is the science advisor to Roosevelt, that he's in charge of the program. And the fourth thing was the entire matter is considered to be of tremendous significance. At the instructions of the ambassador in the embassy, apart from Wright and myself, nobody is to discuss the matter with anybody. So the Canadians have been told. And on the second page of that, which is Embassy number 4, basically it says the ambassador and I would be particularly interested in any indication that you may have heard of the possibility of an official statement. The Canadians in 1950 were sitting, they had heard that the Americans had a crash flying saucer, they had been told that this was for real, and they were sitting there waiting for the Americans to make a statement.